Adventure. Every landscape photographer needs to go on an adventure. And in this video, I'm going to head to the Lake District, one of Britain's most spectacular national parks. I'm going to immerse myself in landscape photography for the next 2.5 days. So why don't you join me as we explore the Lake District and hopefully take some spectacular landscape images. Oh, before I go, you're probably expecting me now to cut to some cool driving montage all cut up to the beat of some funky music. Well, I'm going to be driving at night, and that's going to be a bit boring. So instead, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pop into my jacket. Now I'm ready to go. Good morning and welcome to Buttermere and day one of my big adventure in the Lake District. So I've come down to the lakeside near Buttermere to photograph the lone tree in the lake. It's a fairly popular location, it's been well photographed, but I thought it would be a great way to start off my adventure. Now the weather here is a little bit grey and overcast, but there are some breaks in the cloud. There's not much wind about, which is quite good, so I'm hopefully going to get some nice reflections in the lake. So I've been here for about an hour, I've shot a few pictures. Let me take you over and I'll tell you what I've been up to. Okay, let me tell you how I've got the composition set up. So in the foreground, I'm using some of the grass that's located just on the lake edge there, and then that leads out to where I've got the tree, which is quite dominant in the frame. And I've got the lake and the mountains in the background. So as things are quite still at the moment, I've got some really nice reflections. So I'm going to take an image and we'll see what it looks like. I think I managed to get a nice couple of shots there. That was a nice, easy, relaxing start to my Lake District adventure. So I'm going to head off, have some breakfast, and then I'm going to make a plan for this afternoon. I'll see you soon. Okay, I've decided to completely scrap the idea of breakfast. I was driving back to my hotel. I was already late, probably wasn't going to make breakfast anyway, and I saw a sign for Ashness Bridge. Now this was a bridge that I wanted to photograph for a while. I did try last year, but it was raining, it was pretty terrible conditions, and I wasn't really able to get a shot. Conditions are marginally better today. There's the bridge in the background, still quite grey and overcast, but at least it's not chucking it down. So I'm going to put food on hold for just now, and I'm going to try and get this shot here. Okay, I've got the camera all set up and I'm just about ready to take some pictures. Let me tell you about my composition first. So I've got the camera in a vertical orientation. This allows me to get quite a lot of foreground in as well as the background. In the foreground I've got the rocks and some autumnal leaves there, and then I'm using the river as a leading line as it snakes down and underneath the bridge, and then I've still got some of the mountains in the background. So that's how I'm going to work it. Let me talk about some of the technical setup. Okay, my technical setup. So I've got my 16 to 35 f4 lens on. It's about 35mm at f16. It's at f16 just to give me as much depth of field as I can get, because there's quite a lot of foreground all the way through to the background of this image. I've got my circular polarizer on and it's at ISO 64. This has given me an exposure time of approximately 2 seconds, which for this kind of speed of flow in water I think is just right. So why don't we take some pictures. There you have it, a nice, pleasing, simple image. Now this is one of the more popular locations to come and take landscape pictures in the Lake District. However, just because a location isn't popular doesn't mean that you shouldn't come and shoot it. If you haven't been here and you want to put your own stamp on it, then it's always worth coming to these locations. But with all that in mind, my stomach is rumbling. I've missed enough meals now. It's time to go back and get something to eat. Guess what? I still haven't been somewhere to get something to eat. This is the problem with the Lake District. There's just so many locations to shoot. But I thought while I was up shooting the bridge, I'll come down and shoot the jetty there behind me. So I'm going to pop that image up on the screen, and then I am definitely going for something to eat. Okay, so I finally got myself showered, and I managed to find somewhere that was doing an all-day breakfast, so I'm pretty happy to be watered and fed again. Now, it was a pretty busy morning. It was pretty hectic. I was sort of jumping about between locations. There were a lot of photographers about, so I actually spent quite a lot of time speaking to people, which is always fun, but it plays havoc with my when it comes to recording video, because I tend to be talking too much rather than actually talking to the camera. So apologies if the videos are a bit all over the place, but it was a good morning. Weather not great. It was grey, it's overcast, it's still grey and overcast, and the light is very flat. But I'm going to head out again this afternoon. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go. I think I might find one of the lower fells and maybe take a walk up that and see what I can find. But I'm going to go outside, check my map, see what inspires me, because there's a good few hours of daylight left, so I'm going to make the most of it and take more photographs. Okay, I finally decided where I'm going to shoot from this afternoon. Now, I have been wandering about, driving the car, trying to find somewhere to go. I mean, I did pick somewhere, and as I was taking the road there was a big diversion in place. I couldn't figure another route out. Well, certainly another route that would get me there in time. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll go back to plan B, and plan B was to go up Sharp Edge. I thought, well, I don't really have time for that. I got myself in a panic. I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I had a quick look at my photo locations map, and I remembered about Ullswater there, which is behind me, which makes it's apparently good at sunrise or sunset. So I've just started climbing the fell. There are some breaks in the cloud back there towards where that sun's setting, so I might get a bit of magic light. We'll just have to see. So I'm going to carry on going up the fell, get myself a bit of height, and then I'm going to sit up and we'll see. Well, fingers crossed, we'll get some good weather and we'll get some spectacular shots. Oh, I tell you one thing. If I'd known I was going to come up here, I would have packed my bag slightly differently. I've got the full gear load out with me at the moment. Big tripod, 3 lenses, all the vlogging gear. I normally carry a different loadout if I'm going to do any high mountains or high hills. Particularly I swap it out for my Manfrotto B3 tripod, which is carbon, which is a lot lighter. And I'll normally only take 2 lenses out. But never mind, I'm almost at the top now, and I won't have any excuses for not having the right gear with me. I think I found a spot that I'm quite happy with. I'm about halfway up the fell, and behind me I've got the Ullswater. I've got lots of hills and mountains, and I've got lots of woodland with autumnal colours, so I've got plenty to pick out in a composition. What I'm really hoping for, and it's about an hour before sunset, probably a bit less actually because it'll dip down behind the mountains. I'm just going to look for a break in the cloud, or hopefully get some nice light that will break through and illuminate either the trees or the hills or the mountains or the lake. That's the plan anyway. So I'm going to get my camera out, get things set up, and I'll talk to you when I've figured out a composition. Okay, I've got the camera all set up and I'm just about ready to take a picture. Now, I'm using the kind of S-bend shape as the lake snakes through the valley. I'm using some of the mountains in the background. I've got some autumnal trees in the foreground, and I've got that dark, stormy sky just above the hills. Now I'm hoping there's going to be some more breaks. There's already a slight hint of colour in the sky there. I might be able to capture something already, but I'm hoping that's going to break just a little bit, just to give me a little bit of extra light. So I'm just going to fine tune my composition a little bit, and I'll come back to you and I'll tell you how I've got the camera set up. Okay, here's how I've got the camera set up. So I've got, first of all, I've got SnapBridge enabled on my phone, which is connected to my camera. This will use the GPS data from my phone and it'll hook it straight into the picture data as I take each frame. So that's really handy when I get back home and I'm looking at Lightroom and I want to know where I took that picture. I've got the camera set at ISO 64. I've got my 24-70 f2.8 lens on, about 45mm. It's on f11. It's giving me an exposure time of about 1/3 of a second, I think it is. And on the front of the camera, I've also got my circular polarizer just to take some of the glare off the top of the lake. And I've got a 0.6 medium edge grad just to hold back the sky just a fraction. So I'm all ready to go. I'm just going to wait for the light, going to keep taking pictures, and hopefully we'll get something spectacular. I'll come back to you if we do. Okay, I think it's time to pack up and go home. It's about 20 minutes before sunset, but I'm just not getting any light. It's all very flat and a bit dull at the moment. I've seen some of the tiny breaks in the cloud where I've been able to see up through the low cloud, up and see some really nice pink clouds in the upper atmosphere. It's nice blue sky, but you know, nothing I can make a picture of. So, you know, up there it's really nice. Down here it's just got grayer and it's even got windier and windier. So I think I've had enough. It's unfortunate. It's not the best way I wanted to finish the day, but the weather hasn't been kind to me today. But you know, I'm excited to be here. I'm in the Lake District. I had a full day of photography. You know, what more can I ask for? Yeah, I'd like some good conditions, but you know, it's just good being outdoors. So I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to put together a plan for tomorrow. But before I do that, I think it's time for an early dinner. Okay, I've had some tea and I'm feeling good and I'm ready to make a plan for tomorrow. Now, one of my goals of coming into the Lake District was I would like to walk one of the local hills or fells or mountains. So I've been checking the mountain weather forecast. It wasn't very favourable for today. I was talking about doing Sharp Edge, but it just wasn't going to be worth it. But tomorrow is looking better. It's not looking spectacular, but it is looking better. So my plan tomorrow is I'm going to walk up Cat Bells. So it's going to be a very early start. I'm going to get an ascent, maybe not all the way to the top, maybe about halfway, 3/4 of the way. And hopefully I'm going to get some dramatic light there first thing in the morning as the sun comes up. I've got cracking views of Keswick and Derwent Water and basically all around. It's an absolutely fantastic location. So with that in mind, and based on my experience of walking up the hill this afternoon, I'm going to do a few kit bag changes. So on the way out, the 16-35 will not be coming with me. I will be taking the 24-70 and the 70-200. 24 will be more than wide enough up there. I'm more likely to use the longer end of the focal lengths, to be honest. Old Mavic Pro drone, he's not coming with me. Far too windy up there tomorrow for that, so that means I can have to take a spare battery, controller, propellers, cables, mobile phone to control it with. So all that stuff can stay at home. I will be swapping out my tripods, like I think I said earlier on. I'll take my Manfrotto B3 Carbon, so that will save a whole stack of weight as well. It gives me a bit more room in the bag to take more essential things like hat, gloves, which I will definitely need, emergency ham sandwich, and what else? And plenty of water. So that's what I've got planned for tomorrow. All you got to do is just get up, go for it, and see what happens. So I'll see you in the morning. I do hope you enjoyed part 1 of my Lake District photography adventure video. In part 2, I'm heading up to Cat Bells and Loughrock Fell, where I meet up with fellow YouTuber and landscape photographer Chris Sale. I've also created a playlist that will cover all 3 parts of this Lake District photography adventure. There'll be a link in the video description below and at the end screen at the end of this video. But don't worry if you're clicking it and you don't see all 3 parts, it just means I haven't published that particular video yet. But as soon as I do publish a new part, I will automatically add it to that playlist. Now I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do hit the like button. And of course, if you've got time, leave me a comment. I really do appreciate it, and I do try and read and reply to everyone's comments. And of course, if you haven't done so already, remember to click on that subscribe button, and more importantly, click on the bell icon. That way you'll receive a notification as soon as I publish a new video. So until I see you in part 2, bye for now.